part of some odd stuff that went on in the 60s, early 70s. I became a hippie. I was part of a social, religious thing called the Catholic Worker Movement. And we were pacifists, hippies, with a tinge of Catholicism. I was cool. I was in boycotts and I was in demonstrations, huh? And I was seen as a leader amongst my group of people. I was cool and I was kind of usually the first one to jump into something. Those things. I was a strict vegetarian and all those things. When I was 17 years old, I left Massachusetts, stuck out my thumb and hitchhiked around the country for 4 months. And what I was really doing was I was getting ready to go into federal prison myself because Vietnam was happening. And we were so radical that we wouldn't even try the conscientious objector status. And came back home and continued my things for another 2 years, but there was something missing. And during that single night there, the gal said, "You know, Mark, you're looking for something new. You ought to go meet the Murrays. We have some friends in Virginia. You really dig them, the Murrays." And I said, "What a coincidence this is! 500 miles away. They're telling me to meet the same people." And I said, "Well, thank you, but I'm not going to meet the Murrays. I got other plans." And I knew at that point that God wanted me to go meet these Murrays in West Virginia. And I was looking for something new. So these three disconnected people over 1,500 miles of land thought, this was a good fit for me. And then, later on that first night there, Pat Murray, the dad, told me about his daughter who worked at an orphanage in Tijuana, Mexico. But when he said those words, it was as if lightning flashed across the sky. I mean, it didn't flash, but it was as if I knew in that instant. And that's why God had done all this stuff to get me to meet the Murrays, to hear about this orphanage in Tijuana. I got to Tijuana, and I was 19 years old, and I owned the world. And I spoke Spanish. I could say sí and no. And I'm gonna dig Tijuana. I was gonna get to know the city, and then I was gonna give these people a call so they could come pick me up in the city afterwards. I mean, a call is 1974. Alexander Graham Bell had never crossed the border to Mexico, barely. God's grace, the next morning I actually came across this place, the hills up there around Tijuana. I walked in there, 70 boys. They were so thrilled. They started running around. Un hippie! A hippie has come! And they were running around like ants, and they were so excited. That's how I got here, many years ago. But that's not the end of the story. And then 6 weeks into this day, into being here in Tijuana, this guy said something to me that I'd never heard before. He said, "Mark," he said, "Jesus wants to live in your heart." I had never heard anything so radical. I'm a hippie. Jesus living in your heart is such a groovy idea. It is so hippie when I look back at it now. I had never heard it before. He said that Jesus wants to live in your heart. I thought about it. I said, if it's not true, but I take the bait, it turns out false, I lose nothing. But if it happens to be true, then I don't give it a try. I'm about the dumbest dude who ever walked. I said to Jesus, I don't know if it's true that you want to live in my heart. I don't even know if it's true that you can. All I know is true is that you don't. And if it's true that you can, and if it's true that you want, I invite you. The thing I can say after that is, my life changed. My life just person. I never moved back to the States. My wife was a single American gal working at the orphanage at that point when I got there. We got married a year and a half later. Jason's oldest sister was born a year after that, and then Jason came 2 years further down the line. So just that you know, that's who I am. That's really, really, really what I'm all about.